Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages old enough to hit it and crit it, welcome to the DMs and Dicebags podcast. I am Malatach.
And I am Bleakborn.
And I'm the potato known as Spud.
Yeah! And we're coming at you with episode 3. I don't have a title for it. That's your guys' job. I came up with the intro, I came up with that. Start working. Monkeys.
Title.
The three inning.
The 3 inning. Perfect!
The third inning.
The 3rd inning. That's now You are going to find this on YouTube titled The Thirdening. Anyway, what's going on, guys?
Not much.
What's new in the world with y'all?
Well, I think Spud needs to tell us some of his stories from D&D here.
Oh God, by me.
Well, it's been two sessions since we last were here, and some major events have happened, and I feel like one of them is centered around you, Spud.
I blame dice, and playing a character as a character should be played. You know, honestly, I think that's one thing that a lot of people have issues with is actually playing a character as the character. They like to throw in their own thoughts here and there, but it's like, would my character actually know that? Would they actually act this way? So, playing a Kenku who's greedy for money, I like to go up and, you know, I was at a destination, it's like, oh, shit, I forgot my money. So I had to go back.
And what happened then?
Oh, God, yeah. Getting the money. I come trotting back to a town under siege, and, well, it didn't turn out very well.
You couldn't get back into the city.
Because you were busy taking a bath.
Yeah. Even though I was greedy, my fear tends to outweigh the greed, so I ran. I ended up falling into a river that I couldn't swim through.
Wait, weren't you a bird that you just fly away?
Kenkus can't fly.
I know.
Oh my God, you're the worst bird ever.
Well,
No,
the sad
they
thing
were
is the
cursed.
DC was really low, too.
Kenkus are cursed not to fly. And so, even with the low DC, I managed to flounder and end up... How many rolls was this that I had to roll?
Well,
a 9?
You had to roll a 10. And
Well, I had to roll a 9, but the DC was 10.
Yeah, you had the DC was 10, and I gave you 10 rounds to get it.
I could not roll 9 or above in 10 rolls.
Wow, that is just the odds telling you to go fuck yourself.
And honestly, I think it was more rolls than that, because you kind of got sloshed down the river from bad rolls, too.
Yep.
Oh my God.
His foot got caught in the rocks underneath, and he panicked, and he could not get himself free. And needless to say, he ended up a waterlogged chicken.
And now you're an angry, angry cleric.
Oh yes, a very, very mad half elf who doesn't give a shit about anybody.
Kinda. I mean, he's very helpful. Doesn't care about anyone.
You don't care about the party. You healed more non-existent people than you healed us.
You guys didn't need healing.
Well, they kind of did. They did take a bunch of damage.
Yeah, we did have like walls falling on us.
They're sturdy.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only thing I did in that was rally the townspeople just in time for war. We never actually got any prepared. I just kind of inspired them with a speech. And then, like, used my abilities as a bard to improve the sound, I guess the stage equality for the regent. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna fight. We're gonna prepare. We're gonna prepare for war. Oh shit, war is here. Fuck. So.
All thanks to Al's character, by the way.
We've got this. We're getting this.
Oh, speaking of something we didn't get, we didn't have anyone answer the question in the end of our last video. So would you guys like to take a crack on it?
What was the
before we
question
get
again?
Too deep. Well, you guys were in a tavern. You feel it shaking. You hear commotion going on outside. You run outside and you see a giant walrus crashing through the city. What do?
I will tame
Attempt to
him.
disbelieve.
I will tame him and make him my mount.
I like that. You'd have to roll a pretty good handle animal, but I think I like Spud's more, honestly.
Yes, I attempt to disbelieve. This is nonsense.
This does not exist, and it just starts slowly fading away.
Yeah, it's either that or you have to get a truckload of mackerel and drive it away from the city.
Where the hell are you going to find a truck in a fantasy world?
That's your problem.
Oh,
There's a
jeez.
giant walrus in the city. I think it's easier to find a truck than to find a giant walrus in the city.
I don't know. It's already there. It's already there. So, I mean, it wasn't that fucking hard to find. We just walked out of a tavern, and there it was. But yes, I digress.
What other D&D wrap-up things do we want to talk about? Maybe, I guess, for me, we entered the final Act 2 of my campaign. That probably will only make it to Act 3, knowing how D&D campaigns go, but...
we're gonna finish it, goddammit. I'm tired of having characters in limbo.
They're kind of all in limbo, but it's fine.
No, I need my bard to get to level 6 so I can actually be useful in combat.
You know what? Technically, your bard has been in limbo. I mean, like, purgatory. So, I mean...
Yeah,
He's
already
been there and came back.
Yes. You know, I've gone through a very interesting journey through, I guess, the gate, death, the void, heaven, saying fuck that and just leaving, back to life, and then everything else goes to shit. So, I don't know. But the thing with the lore bard, and I love this character, it has become my absolute favorite character, is he's goddamn useless in combat. I can insult you to death. That is it. That is all I have. That is... And I need to get to 6th level so I can actually have some sort of a spell that I can just be like, hey, I can throw firebolts. Boom, boom, boom. I'm useful in combat.
Well, a good way for bards to become useful is to get magical, like, wands that shoot fireballs and stuff.
Well, I asked you for a fucking hat, and you're like, no.
Well, the city's under siege. You have to go somewhere that's not under siege.
They weren't under siege just yet, and you haven't let us go anywhere else. We're just like, oh, we're stuck here because war and other things and regents, and apparently now we have a rogue in a fucking thieves guild who bitch wants my tongue, and you know, you're making it very hard for me to do cool shit there, Bleak.
Well, to be fair, the MO of this campaign is everything gets worse. That's the whole story behind the whole campaign.
Yeah, I'm a third character already.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. But you know, if I would have known it, if I've, you know, as much as I want to say, if I would have known that this was going to be like this, I probably would have stick to the Valor Bard, because at least he's useful in combat. But I still have an absolute blast out of combat because I'm either talking people into doing whatever the hell I want or pissing off everybody. And I cannot wait till I get the Gios spell, because then I am just breaking things.
And then I send nothing at you but automatons and things that are immune to mind affecting. Or don't have eyes.
See, this bullshit! No!
I'm just referencing a familiar potatoes campaign here.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if that was going to come up.
Here, I always thought you were talking about Code Gios.
Oh no, Bleak played a bard in one of my campaigns, and my god, I threw everything at them except everything he was effective to.
What a dick.
Yeah. So that rubbed off on me for this campaign, so enjoy. But do we have any other little wrap-ups? Otherwise, we can get into the news segment, get on with our podcast.
Yeah, I've got nothing else. Just cursing my DM in somewhat silence.
Somewhat
okay.
Silence on the play.
It's okay. One of you guys is gonna have to DM soon, so I can take a minor break. I could use a minor break. But I
Spud,
digress.
Spud, you're up. I DM'd the last set of the last interim campaign, and so somebody else's turn.
Oh, God, could you imagine owls?
Al was not too bad at that random when we did.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
True.
But all right, on to DM Dicebags news.
Well, by the time this goes out, the Strange Box set for the Kickstarter will actually be over and done with. It has actually reached $108,000 pledged out of 20,000.
Oh wow!
It's I'm actually blown away by how big it's gotten and how many add-ons they're sending out just because of all the pledges, that were made. The stretch goals are amazing.
That's the thing about those Kickstarters. I wish I could get on to some of them, but it's by the time I find out about them, it's too late.
Yeah. Well, though, glad for that.
That's good. Gotta keep the community strong.
Yes, especially with the Monty Cook games, because I actually love the system that he has.
I know.
Mal, do you have any news?
The only thing I know of is there's that Wizards of the Coast is bringing that it's a digital app. It's a mobile companion for dungeon masters and players alike. It was issued or the press release was issued during PAX East, which one of these days I'm gonna fucking go to that.
We might have a panel someday. Here's hoping.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, right next to Markiplier and Friends.
I'm saying it now. Please give us money so we can go to PAX next year.
Oh God, you're such a whore.
My God.
But I mean, it's I've used a lot of these app devices. I have one RPG Scribe that's basically just a character thing. Nice thing about it is it does the math for you. I don't have to. Oh, how many skill points do I get? It actually tracks what your original starting stats are and gives you your skill points based on that. So it takes all the headache out of it. I like that. Because a lot of times I forget my paper, and especially if we're, when we're playing through Skype, I don't always have that availability. So having something like this would be kind of cool. And it also includes a rules compendium, character builder, digital character sheets, and more. The ultimate goal of the app is to make game management easier for both players and dungeon masters. So.
And it's called D&D Beyond, by the way.
Yep.
It's supposed to come out this summer.
I could have sworn that they had an app like that beforehand, and it was a failed project at the time. So is this like a comeback to it, or redesigning of it?
Their last effort was D&D Insider, which was launched alongside the 4th edition in D&D, and we don't talk about that.
Well, I was meaning because I was partaking in some official campaigns at my local store not too long. Well, I say not too long ago, but it was actually a while ago.
Yeah.
And they were using some stuff there, but I don't think it really did well. But if it's coming back, more power to them, because a system like that could be really nice, especially when expanded on.
Oh, and Spud, remember? I don't know if you remember, but we were talking before or after the last podcast. We were talking about the World of Darkness, the new World of Darkness.
Yes.
And you were asking about that book, and I realized that it actually already came out. Remember I was telling you about that?
Mm-hmm.
It's called Chronicles of Darkness. The game came out last year or 2 years ago, and that's the compendium of all the White Wolf stuff.
Oh,
So
nice.
that'll include everything you need to make a character for each different type of campaign.
Yep. Well, actually, it's supposed to be here's the off of the wiki page. Is designed to be flexible and allowed for a multitude of horror stories. The World of Darkness is intentionally vague. It's basically combines everything, so it's no longer like Changeling is separate from Vampire the Masquerade, which is separate from everything else. It brings everything into one world, the one world of darkness. Like Vampire the Requiem, Werewolf the Forsaken, Mage the Awakening, Promethean the Created, Changeling the Lost, Hunter the Vigil, Geist the Sin Eaters, and Mummy the Curse.
Oh my God, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's only the first thing. They also have like Blood and Smoke, the Strix Chronicle, Demon the Descent, Mortal Remains, the Indigam Chronicle, Beast the Primordial, Fallen World Chronicle, the Firestorm Chronicle, and the Huntsman
I
of
get the
Chronicle.
idea.
Yes, there's a fuckload. There's just a shit ton. So, but yes, it is. It's already out.
Can you buy the book separate without needing to get any other book?
I'm pretty sure yes.
Okay.
And
That was the main thing.
Yep. So that is my one little editorial that Chronicles of Darkness actually already came out. So there you go. That's all I've got.
Your little statement there reminded me. I think last week we promised the viewers that we would do a thing that we wouldn't talk about D&D this episode, but I can't remember. So one of you guys should see if you can remember. While I plug my plug for this evening.
Plug your plug then. That sounded so bad.
My plug for this evening is called Bundle of Holding. It's a website where you can buy bundles of digital role-playing files. An interesting part of the website is that you can pay as much as you like for what they offer. They do have a minimum, but the value of the products of what you're getting is definitely worth it. This week they have 3 offers that they're doing. The first one, in line with what you were saying earlier, they're actually offering all of the Changeling books on their site. It's produced by White Wolf Studios and is set in the world of the darkness, and you guys can probably get from the name that what a Changeling is, so I don't need to really go into that one. The other one that really sparked my interest was Space 1889. It's a tabletop role-playing game published by Clockwork Publishing and is set in Victorian-era space-faring adventure. Just wrap your head around that. It's the Victorian space-era adventure. And then the last one is called Designers, Dragons, and More, a compendium of the history and highlights of the role-playing game hobby as a whole.
I was going to say, because that totally sounded like a home-building game for, like, dragons. Designers and Dragons.
And More.
Yeah, see, it sounds like one of those games.
Pimp My Den.
There you go.
And the last thing I have to say about that is actually one of my coworkers who showed me this website got the Elven paper crafts, and she gave me all of the files for the Elven paper crafts, where you can make cities and towns just by printing out the things and folding them and bending them and cutting them to make really cool little paper villages and stuff. And I work at I work at a print shop, so yeah, that's really cool for me.
So you're using company property to...
I have not used any company property yet. I will have to pay for it if I print it, but...
I will give credit to Papercraft, because there are some amazing things that people can come up with to build.
Yeah. Just the files. There's it was 5 gigs worth of paper crafts, so...
Jesus.
I haven't looked through it hardly any of it yet, but it's on my flash drive. I mean, I really like this site. The possibilities are endless, and you guys got to remember to check in each week to see what the new offers that they're offering to download. And they're on a timer, so I believe the space one is up for 12 days before it is gone for good. I am not getting paid by them at all, by the way. I just really like their site.
None of us are getting paid.
But if they want to pay us, please. Our emails are linked down below in our each of our channels, and we're waiting to hear from you.
It's amazing how fast you can go from nerd to whore. Just
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
But if you really want to pay me, I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
Careful.
I will do a lot for money. Just put it that way.
be careful. You're gonna get a lot of posts, and a lot of them are probably not gonna be what you like.
It could be negotiated.
Drew,
But,
Bleak, you're gonna get a smothering. You're gonna get somebody asking to smother you.
That happened to our friend Eric. I think he offered to do that.
Yeah, but we just never figured out what.
Did he ever actually go, or did they not need him?
No, they never called back.
Oh yeah, because he sent the what is it called? A body shot.
Yeah, he did a profile body shot because he was gonna get paid $100 for, or like, no, I think it was like $500 to be smothered, and nobody ever called back. And that's been a question anytime I've talked to Eric. It's even when we're gaming, it's more of like, you ever still think about what you'd get smothered with? All the time. It plagues me for years. I don't know what it was. Would it have been cool? Would it have been bad? Would it have been... Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not professionals, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a professional something. It's just it has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So, do any of you remember if we promised that we weren't going to do D&D in this episode? Or...
I think we were going to try to talk about other systems, other things like that.
Because we've been so heavily focused on D&D. I mean, I know it's a primary thing, but there are so many other systems that we love.
Modern D20.
Well, let's get right into it then. Who's got the first question?
You do.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, mine are relating to pretty much anything. So, does anyone have one that's relating to purely non-D&D related?
Clearly, favorite system.
Didn't we do that last time?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we
Go
talked.
with one of yours.
Fine. It's related to favorite system. It's called, what is your favorite theme? Fantasy, space, etc.? Why?
I'm pretty sure we also did that, but...
Let's go into depth.
I like modern. I've always had always enjoyed like modern D20, future D20. I mean, they're basic D20 stuff, but any campaign that's always had a modern setting where I can, I don't know, I feel more attached to that than being like an elf or a dwarf. But if I'm just a normal human in a human world, then and then shit starts going crazy, I feel a little bit more drawn into it. Yeah, like even Miles, my first modern D20 character, still alive, in purgatory, waiting.
Oh no, he's not in purgatory anymore. I have a plan for him.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Well, the thing is, like I said before, I was gonna do a modern one-shot-ish short campaign. Well, who's gonna be giving you guys missions? Well, it's probably Miles.
I don't know how I feel about this, because in one hand I feel really excited because it's an old character of mine that I loved, and at the other hand it's you. And you're a dick. So
well, someone's got to run the new Bureau of, I forgot what I called it back in the day, but this time I'm calling it Aegis, not Shield.
What's the acronym?
I have it somewhere, but I do not have it. So.
all right, I'm okay. I'm gonna hold my reservations and my distrust in you until later.
It'll take place like 20 years after the events of the last campaign. So.
Yeah, but we never even finished the last campaign. The last part of the campaign is one of your flying bone dragon, bone riding armor dudes just kind of, I'm here, and I fucked you all up, but left you alive, and now I'm going home. And that was it. And then children got kidnapped off of school buses along with my sister, and we rescued them, and then all hell broke loose. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's set 20 years after that, so it'll be interesting to see how the world shapes up. Let's just say there is a giant purple dragon loose in London.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Shared universe, my friend. Shared universe.
Oh my God, we're dipping into Marvel and type of roles, man. The canon universe is gonna be so conflicted now.
Well, the thing too, I knew we were going to talk about D&D this session or this session, but the gray cloaks from that other campaign exist in this world that we're playing in now. Just so you know, there's a big giant shared universe inside my head that's going on.
Oh my God.
Huh.
Also, the mech campaign takes place many years after the events of this modern one, so.
The one with gears?
The one with your sister becoming...
Oh, you son of a bitch!
It's all coming together now, isn't it?
I have not the words. There's so much emotional comebacks here, and I hate you. I'm excited, but I know it's you, and I know you're gonna do something, and I'm just going to I'm gonna look at you through your own computer. I'm gonna hack your computer just to show a picture of me and just go, bleak. I hate you, and that's it.
Do you remember when we did the thing for Eric on the laptop, Dusty?
Yeah.
Buddy?
I remember that little smiley face.
That was great.
All right. Anyway, that was my answer. Modern and future. Somebody else. Spud.
Honestly, I'd have to say it really depends on who's running it. And the reason I say crap like that is just simply for the matter that the stories that a person can end up coming up with is so interesting that it makes the world interesting. And so with that, it makes the system and the world just all come together. I think the best experiences I've had were probably either with a D10 system like what's it called? Oh my gosh. Please help me here.
Supernatural?
No, that's a D12 system.
Oh, D10 system.
Superheroes.
Oh god, Anima?
No,
No.
superheroes. It's not GURPS.
My gosh, why can't I think of the name of this thing?
Let me open my big giant folder of D&D games. I don't remember. It's nothing that
Aberrant.
Aberrant. I knew it was started with an A.
Yeah, that's probably the most fun I've had in the system, just from some of the worlds and some of the silly stuff that you can do. And the world that was built with those were honestly pretty fun just because of the people I was with and doing it. But just out of world alone, I'd have to say a supernatural campaign that our friend had ran, and oh my god, hell breaking loose instead of just being a normal world.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in fact, I recall us pulling up to this one city in this van. It was like a Halloween town that had kids. We booked it right through the city, didn't even stop.
Yep.
Oh, your tires blew out. We're still going.
Yep, now we're walking.
Yeah, we went right through that city. We did not stop.
Yeah, that did not happen. We did not want to go there.
And he knew it too. That's the thing. See, he planned it.
Didn't we end up going there?
Well, we had to go through the city, but we just hightailed it right out of there because we wanted nothing to do with the place.
You know what the next campaign we should do is?
Mm.
Hackmaster.
Say Chartmaster.
No,
don't-
Hackmaster.
No, I say Chartmaster.
I don't think we want to have that many teach new system to new people, you know, especially that system.
But they have a 5th edition that's a little bit more mainstreamed.
let's just let them get used to playing D&D in general with us before we throw them into like horrifying character creation.
Oh, come on. It's so great. You have to roll to successfully take a piss. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's great. All right. Fine. Nobody's on board with the Hackmaster. I'll put the book away. Hate you all.
Yeah, well.
Well, my favorite theme, I guess, of campaign is post-apocalyptic. Like, to play and the DM. I think you could do a lot with that. One of my favorite campaigns I DM'd was post-apocalyptic. The mech campaign, set in like a dystopian Arctic future where all the cities had like frozen over, and I think was it Lost Planet plus Ergo Proxy plus zombies.
Plus,
I really enjoyed that Lost Planet.
Plus a little Gears of War thrown in. 'Cause there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of big motherfuckers in that.
Well, no, it was more of what's it called? What's that normal zombie game that I can't really think of right now? Resident Evil. It was very Resident Evil. Zombies weren't really zombies. They were more like a mutated human thing that's kind of a zombie that had different forms.
See, I just remember you throwing me, besides all the emotional pain that you caused me, I remember the last part of that was the, what was it, in the labyrinth, or like a battle thing where we all had to participate, and I had my six-fingered mechs, and it was like an entire area that was completely cleared out, but there was abandoned buildings everywhere in very tight corners. And I was supposed to challenge this dude from another clan who kind of whooped my ass the last time, but I got cocky. You're like, you know what? You can't do that twice in a row. All right, here, now, next match, done. Fuck. And then I just remember a giant worm snake demon thing and destroying buildings and then eating him.
You kind of miss a little bit, but kind of there.
It's been a very long time. Also, I've never played Lost Planet, so I don't know any of the monsters there, but I have played Gears of War, and that's what I attribute the monsters to.
Lost Planet's like an Arctic
I've
version of Gears of War.
I've seen it where you can't spend any real time outside, otherwise you take damage, so you got to run from like warm zone to warm zone and shit like that. I've seen like when it first came out, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, it's on Xbox. Never mind. And I just never looked at it again.
Oh, snap.
I really enjoyed that campaign. It was a different take on post-apocalyptic, but I've played a lot of post-apocalyptic, and they're kind of some of my favorite campaigns, especially when the DM like throws the whole thing on a loop, making like one of them was a tiered city that had like the poor at the bottom and like the rich at the top, of course, and then everyone played as this group of ruffians. It felt very what is it called? Why am I drawing blanks tonight? What's Final Fantasy, like the cloud one of that? Final Fantasy VII, where they have like a group of kind of misfit characters, and they're taking on like the higher ups, and then there's monsters as well. Ergo Proxy style of monsters. They were actually called proxies. They were digital code creatures that, that was really weird, but it was cool.
Now I just kind of want to go watch Digimon.
I have the theme song just playing in my head. They're more like digital monsters. Digimon,
Champions. Yeah, that's what the rest of this episode is going to be, is just me and Spud singing the Digimon theme song.
In your head, hopefully.
Nope. Drew, your backup
now that you say that.
Blake, your backup vocals. So, you better get your high-pitched voice together.
What do you
Oh!
voice?
I just narrowly missed the cue to fucking pull my earbuds out. I was like, I had one out.
For it.
I know, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't go whatever his little gnomeling is, but...
Oh, the Mortis! He's actually a deer outside looking at me right now every time I do that voice.
He's probably wondering what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, he's staring at me right now. I'm having a staring contest. Oh, he looked at somebody else.
Does that mean you win?
I think so. Oh,
Huh.
he's licking the salt.
All right. I think that answers that first question. We all kind of went around the table and...
Which brings us back to you, Mal. What do you want to... What's your question for this evening?
What do you guys... Or as far as like a system goes, whether it be, you know, fantasy and things like that, what are... Like, if you were to combine, you know, create your perfect system... Like taking, even if it's like taking bits from this, bits from that, bits from here, just like little areas and different things that you're like, oh god, that's really cool. I wish that this system would do it because it would work good. What do you guys would think like of your perfect system?
One thing I'd like to add to D&D would be a mana system over spells per day. I just feel like that'd be a little more useful.
Isn't that essentially science, though?
Yeah, but I really, it makes more sense to me like to have like energy that you use to cast spells instead of having slots that you use. It doesn't feel as realistic, so I have this kind of farther away from connecting with my character if it's a mage. But
Well,
like in Vampire or something, you can have a blood pool that you drain from to use your abilities, and no matter what the abilities are, they drain from that pool.
Yeah. A long time ago, Spud, I don't know if Blake ever talked to you about this. Well, we were living in Minneapolis and Eric came in. We tried to make our own system. And Blake insisted on this whole mana system, and I don't think we ever finished it. I think that was the only part that we never finished. Because remember, we were going to have like the stat points instead of like skill-based, or it was all skill-based and not stat-based, like, you know, strength, dex, that. It was more of, all right, what's your parry skill and your this defense skill? And we tried to do something like that. We play tested it once in a post-apocalyptic campaign, didn't we?
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it was still kind of rough, really rough.
Well, yeah, because, well, some of us were inebriated in various forms, and you were sober.
Yeah, I wasn't DMing though, so I don't know.
No, you weren't DMing, but I'm talking about just in creation alone.
Well, blame Eric. Let's just say noodles and peanut butter are just kind of like something I remember from that.
And really, really cool next door neighbors.
True. Yeah.
Oh my god, we got really fucked up there in Minneapolis.
And you guys did, I never.
Well, yeah, because you were like, I don't drink, I don't do any of that fun stuff, and then you move back to Grand Marais, and it's like, I'm gonna get a beer, I'm gonna go get some whiskey. That's my Bleak impersonation. I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do that.
That's about right. My redneck is showing. They're covered up.
Yep. So.
I have got nothing to add to this conversation.
Well, what's your answer then?
What was the question?
If you were to take bits and parts, like, if you were to make your own tabletop, pen and paper, RPG system, whatever you want to call it, what would your system have? Like, what things from, like, you know, is it gonna, you know, is there things that you really like in Dungeons and Dragons? Is there things that you really like in, like, Vampire the Masquerade, or D20, or Aberrant, or Numenera, or something like that? Just, it's not like the system and how it flows, it's just more of little things. Like, little bits and pieces of the system that's like, God, that's really fun to go through. If you were to make your own system, what would you have?
I have another answer.
We'll get back to you.
It's actually kind of a hard question for me because I like systems being so unique and different from one another that it's a joy to jump between them. To add one to another might actually disrupt how the
not so much not so much like adding one to another. Like, my answer is, like, one thing I love with D20 Modern is it's not there, you know, of course there's no race. You just play as a human. And it's more of, are you a strong hero, a tough hero, agile hero? it's not so much watered down. It's more of, this is your, how am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to say? This is like your, if I'm like, because Miles was a tough hero, which means he was a damage sponge. You know exactly, I'm not going to put any points in being charismatic, but I'm going to focus solely on that. The feats that they had in that was a great, I love the feats that they had in D20 Modern. The action points, which I know in D&D 4th edition, and I think in D&D Next, they brought the action points, and I know some melee classes in 5th edition do have that as well, where you just, I'm going to use an action point. That came out in D20 Modern. Other things are like, like Blake was talking about in Vampire the Masquerade, the blood pool. That's a cool system, because you never run out of things to do. If you need something, you could always roll really, really well, find a rat on the ground, drain it for a blood point, and be able to pop off another ability. You never ran out of abilities or powers or anything like that. Saying that, my favorite thing, and Bleak can attest on some of the other campaigns that I've ran, Hackmaster. The one thing I absolutely love about Hackmaster is quirks and flaws.
Quirks and flaws.
I absolutely love quirks and flaws. Any campaign that I've ever ran that was more fantasy, because it does fit more, I always put quirks and flaws in it. You just roll on a table, you get certain things, it's like, oh, I'm a paraplegic, I'm a quadriplegic, I'm blind in both eyes, I talk to imaginary people. It can go from like severe physical, like I am a quadruple amputee and I'm just a torso, and you just carry me on your back, or as in Eric's case, he was a truthful assassin. He could kill like nobody else could, but you ask him a question, he will spill everything. That was the flaw. I always thought it always kind of made characters seemed more like normal. Because
normal.
Well, in everyday life, we all have quirks and flaws. We're never a perfect being. And always kind of felt like
you.
Well, I'm also the one who says I'm absolutely perfect. So, and my bard will attest. So I am trying to lower myself to get into the thought process of you normal mortals. So bear with me here. But in one campaign that I ran while I was still living up in Portage, when I first moved into my apartment, my friend James was a dwarven barbarian who had a trick knee. And at any time, I would roll, high or low. If he rolled wrong, or if he guessed wrong, his trick knee went out. Definitely didn't come in handy when I put him against a dire Kodiak bear.
I would imagine not.
Big ass great axe. Smash. Trick knee goes out. He runs head first into the bear's nuts. He did a point of damage. I'll give him that. I said, okay, you do a point of damage, and the bear is very, he's stunned for a round, but you have to take a round to get up. And when the bear regains his composure, he is going to want to eat your face off. And he didn't do that. He basically kind of picked him up and then just bitch smacked him into through 3 trees, pretty much like crippling him. Things like that. And even in the campaign that we're running now, there's no flaws with our characters unless we're out of combat. There's no well, I guess Brianna's wild mage could be considered a flaw or a quirk.
Well, both of them have their own demonic problems going on.
Yeah, but you had to imbue them with extraordinary power that's both a blessing and a curse.
It's more of a curse, I think, in this situation.
Well, as long as they don't get out of hand. But here, I will mention some of my absolute favorite quirks and flaws. Hack Frenzy, Hack Lust was really good in Hackmaster. Basically, Hack Frenzy is if you get critted on, you have to roll a save. The DC for that is pretty high. If you don't make it, you have to pretty much kill everything. And you have to crit. If you don't, you have to continue attacking. And that includes your own party members. So if I get critted on and I go into this blind rage, I don't stop until I get a crit. Or until somebody just completely knocks me out. So it's like, oh, all the enemies are dead. Well, there's a little halfling here. Well, gotta kill him. Hack. Boom. And if I don't get a crit, I just keep swinging. So it's definitely... Because you do get a big bonus when you're in the hack frenzy. I think you get like a +5 to hit. Plus something to damage. But if you don't crit, you stay into it. And stuff like that was always kind of really cool to me. Obsessive compulsive. Lazy. Gullible. I mean, a lot of this stuff is more of out of combat, but a lot of it can twist inside of it, like colorblind. Especially during puzzles, colorblind is going to suck. Epileptic, you can just be like, all right, I'm the only person that can kill this dragon right now. Oh, God, seizure. And you're just done.
The bright lights. Oh, no.
Yeah, somebody...
You shouldn't be making fun of epileptic people, those poor people.
Well, yeah, it sucks to be them. But as a character in a Hackmaster campaign, it's hilarious. Things like that. It's more of not so much like complete, whole new like functions of the game, but it's more of just the optional stuff. Because Quirks and Flaws is not a mandatory thing, even in Hackmaster. You can either cherry pick and get a small boost, like bonus to things like that, or you can roll, and then you get more stuff. Like, you get battle points, and you use those to get more skills, proficiencies, talents, things like that. So it does pay, but it's also like a very big risk. It's like more of a risk-reward system. That's more of what I was talking about there, Spud. Does that help your answer out anymore?
I've got nothing.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm going to add on to mine then.
All right.
One thing I would like to add to it would be like the flexibility of character creation like Anima, where you can pretty much make anything you want and it is possible. I really enjoy that. Like the customization that you can do, the uniqueness of your character can really be created doing that.
Yeah, and as long as you could, eventually we could play an Anima campaign for the podcast, but I think one episode would just get through the pages of the character creation for one character.
I think we'd want to build characters prior to
yeah, because I mean, we usually our D&D sessions are usually 3.5 hours long,
from 7 till about 10.
Sometimes we go over. I mean, lately we've been going like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean that's to be expected for a D&D campaign.
Yeah. So now, for everybody listening at home, if they've never heard of Anima, like Bleak was talking about, you can literally make anything you want. There is a tutorial that I have tried, still get confused on, even though it's blatantly written out for me, on how to make Goku. Like, spot on Goku. Still can't figure that shit out. Bleak...
The funny thing is, like, we had a person DM it, and he had to read the book twice, and he still didn't get it. It was just really badly translated. Now, I'm hoping with the re-release of Anima that it's a lot easier to go through.
I don't know. I have a $50 book that's got like silver edges on the paper, and it looks really cool. It cost a lot of money, and I could easily bludgeon somebody to death with the book. It's that freaking big. Still can't figure that shit out. I want to play it so bad because there's so many cool things I can do it, like necromancy and fucking psionics and telekinesis, and I could build anything I want, and this is going to be the only time in life I'm ever going to be Wolverine. So I want to.
You should have played City Heroes way back when.
I want to play, but I also don't want the headaches that come with reading that book. I can I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a rant on this. I'm sorry, Bleak, but anime pisses me off. It's a love-hate relationship. I love it. It hates me. No RPG system should ever have a 4 to 5 page character sheet. It doesn't need to exist. I'm glad that it does because it looks so cool. Yeah, I'm assuming if I ever finished one, it would look so cool to just present. But I can never get... Once I get to, like, the percentile dice and the necromancy page, which I think is, like, the 3rd page in, I am completely lost.
By being a summoner and you have to come up with your own summons.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It was hard, because that's what I was.
It hurts just to think about.
So, jumping back to an earlier conversation we had, I think Spud should DM us a superhero campaign so you can be Wolverine.
Yay!
Well,
But with
if
your
you
claws
guys have-
only on your feet.
No, I am not... Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Only on your feet. You could be the raptor.
Okay, how about this? I will compromise. 1 in my hands, right where the middle finger would be, and then 2 in my feet.
Isn't that like...
No, that's the opposite, because she has 2 in her hand and 1 in her foot.
Wolverine's son has one in his arm and 2 on his feet.
Well, he's got 2 on his... He's got 2 in his hand and then 1 through his wrist.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, I just want, like, the middle finger claw so I can just, like, stab and tell people to go fuck themselves in the most badass way possible. And then I can just, kick their nuts off. Because it's going to be, like, perfect right there. And it just, as soon as, if I get a straight shot, it's just going right in the testicles.
Well, you could have them a little bit hooked, so you could have, like, hooked claws, which could make you a little more different than Wolverine.
Maybe I'll go for, like, blades that, like, come out of my, like, a curve, like, almost a scimitar blade. Have you guys ever played Guilty Gear? The fighting game?
Long time ago, yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are not professionals, I swear.
No.
Try not to convince us for professionals.
But, roll a charisma roll. Maybe you can persuade us that we are, for us to, like, what? Yeah, we are pretty pro at this. I mean,
You're clearly nerds.
we're professional nerds. There you go. See? End of discussion. No rolls needed. But, like, maybe have, like, curved blades that come out of my arms. That'd be kind of cool. But we'll get into that.
Yes.
But I think that's what
We'll get into
Spud
that
should do.
about rolling dice and talking about campaign systems over comic books at some point.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on comic books. It's just not gonna.
You were already started.
No.
Oh my god, Spud, he's our Tyler.
Oh god.
I don't know if I should be able to take that as a compliment or insult.
Well,
Well, then it's just like me. Yeah, don't get me
Fine.
don't get me started on comic books because this really started because then this podcast is never going to end. We'll still be going next week.
So let's circle back around and finally get Spud's answer to this question and his next question.
Or his first question.
Shh.
What
answer are you looking for?
What pieces of system, if you were to make your own unique system that's, just, what pieces would you take from other systems to put on? Like, like I was talking about the quirks and flaws. That's a cool, cool thing, and it's very simple.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, like I would say, I actually don't have anything. I enjoy the things that are already out there. I mean, I can come up with worlds, I can come up with this and that, but I don't think I could actually come up with my own system, even if I were to take ideas from other systems.
There's not a single thing you like from a system that really stands out, though, that you would like to have in another system, potentially?
I don't think I'd change the systems the way they are. Okay. Maybe one thing, I guess, because I remember this being a huge issue in the Cortex system when we were playing Supernatural. Better melee combat, because that was pretty crap.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It was not designed to be any melee whatsoever. So, and a lot of us actually just wanted to make more melee-based characters in there. So, I mean, it's probably more of a fault of the system itself rather than something to add to it. But that's the closest I can come up with.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I'll accept that answer.
For now. What question do you pose to us, Spud?
out of, I know, Mal, you were saying about how you enjoyed the like a modern D20,
Mm-hmm.
and Bleak, you were saying you what system did you say you enjoyed again?
Say that again.
What system did you say you enjoyed again?
I didn't think I said a system. I said a
Yeah,
theme, and it was a post-apocalyptic.
Okay, well, I just thinking because at some point I would like to run a campaign since I'm back on the Kickstarter for the Strange Box. I'd like to run a Strange campaign, and it's sort of modern and sort of out there-ish, I guess you could say. And so I think this might be a system that you guys might really enjoy.
So what's your question?
So the question is, what would you like to see out of like outlandish kind of thing?
I got this.
Go.
Super Lovecraftian horror, because Lovecraftian horror is one of my favorite things. Trippy, weird, crazy monsters that fuck with your mind and have tentacles and are just creepy as fuck.
You've been watching way too much anime.
No, not anime. It's darker than that. Way deeper and evil, and just layers upon layers of just crazy, and just trying to get your character to not like go insane while fighting these things, or like trying to decipher like a script, or trying to go through just a dungeon that's devoted to them. That would be wild. Like,
So then would you be so then do you prefer the more detective side or more the fighting against the dark god side?
that's a tough one, because I'd enjoy both of them probably about evenly. For modern campaigns, I kind of do like more intrigue kind of things versus actual like fighting constantly, because that's all we do in fantasy campaigns.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see like a plot where we would maybe the town's government is being like manipulated by some otherworld entity, and we have to like deal with it, kind of. But like more of like we have to find out how and why and where, and then we go and deal with it. But maybe we're not unsuccessful because these eldritch horrors are so massive and crazy. It could be really wild, and it just allow us to do so much. That's my take on that question.
All right. And then what about you, Mel? What would you like to see out of an outlandish modern system?
Well, I don't know about like an outlandish modern, but for any system really, I like the freedom of being able to think outside the box. Not so much like he was talking about in fantasy. You go through a dungeon, you clear the dungeon, you save whatever, you retrieve whatever, and then the end of that quest. I always liked being able to think outside of the box. Like, my favorite thing to do is to piss off DMs. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do. It's more of thinking of something that they have never thought of. Where say Bleak has an entire room filled with, monsters. And there's a boss at the top. Instead of going through there, if there was, a team element, that's one thing I always liked. In fantasy game, well, at least in our sessions, you have like little team ups of like 1 to 2 people. Like 2 people, and then you have a little mini team up, and they plan. And then me and Al will have a plan to do this, like stealing that book. You just were a goody two shoes, noble, and like, I'm just gonna wait. But yeah. I like a team element where everybody has to work together, otherwise shit fucks up and we all die. But being able to think outside the box instead of going through this building up to the top, why don't we find a way to scale the building, screw all of the monsters, and beat the boss? Well, I hate to keep going back to our D&D session, but that point in time where we went to go rescue the Regent, instead, like, Brianna just wanted to fight all the monsters, fight all the bad guys, and fight the boss last. I had the idea of just knocking out the guards, which didn't kind of work because we kind of exploded them. But then I put on their gear. I used my charisma or my actor feat to talk just like him, And then I kind of just talked ourselves right into the boss room, and then we fought the boss first. That is what made, that's what I really loved about the Bard, is because I was able to forego most of that combat, got to the big motherfucker, killed him. Well, we all killed him. And then we're able to just pick off the little guys afterwards. Being able to work around an entire dungeon or an entire boss fight to get, basically alternate routes. I love being able to find, you know what? I don't want to go that way. I'm going to talk myself into the boss room and then fight the boss, instead of having deal with all the lackeys.
So, finding the power cord to a death trap only to have it not really, obvious.
Yeah. And I know we talked about that on the podcast before when but something things like that, more freedom of alternate options. That's what I love. And I want to see something where it's, if the team isn't on 100%, isn't 100% together, then things are going to go wrong.
And that actually brings up a very valid point that I've really got an issue with in a lot of campaigns that I've played. A lot of people just don't work together. A lot of people want to go for the glory of themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody wants that killing blow to say, "Oh, I killed that dragon. I came down and cut off his head, and it was so cool, and I bathed in his blood." That's, everybody wants that. But
you wanted that.
I
made you play a bard.
No, you said play something I've never played, and I had a lot of options.
I also told you not to be the party leader, so everyone else can get a chance.
Yes, and I
really enjoyed this.
Oh my god, yes! It's probably one of the best characters I've ever played, because I can be the plan guy. I don't have to be the executor. Every once in a while I want to kill something just to be like, oh, okay, I killed that. But where I shine is out of combat. That's where my bard shines, is out of combat interaction until 6th level when I actually can do something. But, I have so many utilitarian spells where it's all situational. But when that situation happens, and I could be like, oh, I've been waiting for this day for 8 sessions. Yes! And it works. And then I feel better about I feel so happy inside when I get to use that one spell that I've been holding on to for 8 sessions in something that doesn't even matter than it would be for me to kill the dragon. Because it's in any game there, whether it be Vampire or D20 Modern or Aberrant or GURPS or whatever, the end result is kill the bad guy. Or, I want to see something where...
Subdue the bad guy.
Yeah, subdue, kill, capture, befriend. That's one thing. My girlfriend's got Undertale. And the fact that you could just befriend everything. There was an actual full pacifist route. That blew my mind, because that's, every video game I've ever played. Kill this. All right? Kill that next. And then that next. An alternate route where it's no. What if I can talk this dude into joining us, or at least helping us out later on in the, in our campaign? Something like that, with that kind of a freedom of choice and the ability to think. That's what I want. And that's my answer.
There's also something to add to mine, I guess, too, that he brought up. I like a little bit of inter-party struggle with a tiny bit of backstabbing, but not too much where it's full-on PvP. But it's kind of fun if you have conflicting goals that the party individuals have to do in the party, but they have to complete the whole adventure together. So we did this in a Vampire the Masquerade campaign where each of our clan would tell us we had to get this one item, but a different clan member said, or a different clan would have the other character have to get that same item. So there was a little bit of a struggle, but our ultimate goal was to finish off the mission. I kind of like that tiny bit of struggle, the little bit of animosity between players, but not too much where we end up killing each other,
I think there's a place for PvP, just more of in a sparring sense. We're all badasses, but let's just go fuck around a little bit and just kind of fight each other until we're just unconscious and then heal each other up and stuff like that. I think that's also kind of fun, but yeah, I get what you're saying, like...
It works well for like a political intrigue kind of campaign where you like have different conflicting political goals that you want to like raise your status, but to do so you kind of have to backstab one of your friends a little bit.
Yeah, that's more...
That makes sense.
That goes back, kind of goes into where the freedom of choice, where it's not just go through the dungeon, fight the monster, save the day. There's more, there's an ultimate goal, and then we all have our own personal goals. Sometimes they clash. Sometimes they're, an entirely different area where you have to split the party, though you never split the party. That's what I love about these, tabletop and pen and paper games is I don't want it so much cut and dry. Reach the end level of the dungeon, kill the boss, go home. I want to be able to explore the world that I'm in. I want to be able to like, well, you know what? I can talk to, after talking to this dude who had nothing to do with this, I learned something about the boss. He's afraid of this, or he really likes this, and maybe we can, instead of, I don't want everything to be combat. I love this, and this is my first real taste because all of my other characters have always been combat-based. This is my first non-combat-based character, and it's really opened my eyes to what really, possible thing is. What the real possibilities are in a world, given that your DM will allow it. So, yeah.
Okay.
What's your answer?
You never thought of one, did you?
Well, no, it just... I was thinking of one, but I kind of got wrapped up into what you guys are saying. I mean, I've never been a particular huge fan of horror or horror settings, even though I'll partake in them, but I've never been necessarily a huge fan of them. So I've always thought about high fantasy or anything like that. Even in the world of modern, just things that are out there, like kind of like Mage the Awakening, where I'm like, foregoing the horror, any horror aspect of it, just like magic erupting in the modern day, and you become one of these people that's actually able to cast spells and everything. But even beyond that, even if I went into futuristic, I love the concept of cyberpunk, but I'm not a huge fan of the darker side of it. I've always been a guy that enjoys the brighter side of life, as stupid and corny and cheesy as that sounds. But
well, I get what you're saying.
I played too much Dark Souls.
I'm not even going on to that conversation. That just, I can already feel the rage quelling inside of me. But going back to the my bard, when in my
Bard.
Because I love my bard, I will do whatever it takes to make sure he lives forever. But when I made him and I went through the background and everything, he just wants to bring joy to the world, whether it be through music, whether it be through entertainment, whether it be through anything. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to kill anybody. He just wants to bring joy to the world.
Joy to the world.
Pretty
the
much.
dragon is dead.
Yeah, if that's, if that happens to be, so be it. But I would rather come to an agreement where actually role playing. As you were talking about beginning of the podcast, talking about, or actually no, this was before the podcast when we were just shooting the shit before that. You're talking about, really, really role playing the character. Mm-hmm. Not everything, playing this guy, I really found the beauty of non-combat, and I totally get what you're saying. Not everything has to be kill this. Not everything has to be, a monster. Not everything, the townspeople may think it's a monster, but it could just be, a dragon who's really lonely. And he's really angry because he's the last of his kind. So to be able to see things other than in black and white as you're evil, you're good, that really, makes me want to keep playing.
You like seeing lots of shades of gray.
Yes. Way over 50.
So much wrong with that.
Way over 50 shades.
Wasn't the sequel like 50 more shades?
I don't know. I didn't even know they
50
made...
shades darker.
Oh, God.
Why do you know that?
I have a fiance.
If I
yeah.
ever go to your house and that book is in there, I am burning it.
She bought the first movie and is going to buy the second. Just put it that way. They're gonna be sitting around.
So when me and Spud go to your house, is there gonna be like a hidden sex dungeon somewhere?
Well, we have a dungeon. It's just not set up yet. There is like
the fact
police system set up in the one room. It just doesn't have anything attached.
Spud, I was joking when I talked about this. When I brought this up, I wasn't hoping that he would just be like, yeah, man, I'm going to have all this. But the fact that he already has a fucking dungeon that's not set up yet.
Well, I had a comment, and my comment was going to be, like, you said a hidden sex dungeon, and it was like, I was just thinking, well, it's not going to be hidden.
Well, very true.
I don't think he's going to hide it.
It's in our sauna that's in our basement.
The fact that
it actually came with the place. So.
Bullshit. Don't even try to use that as an excuse. I know you, Mr. Blacksmith. I know you. You've got stuff created down there. You're just, not wanting to let in too much of that shit on the podcast.
I think you're putting a lot into our listeners' ears.
Well, I want to paint a picture with words on how, who we all are, and I'm pretty sure we have a very vivid picture of you now. Spud's just, not vivid enough. That'll be episode 6.
The vivening.
Yes. Spud is just a Spud. I'm the loud one, basically.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a bard.
Well, even on the little picture we got, I'm like, you have a beard, and I've always had people tell me that beards talk.
Oh my god, I should make a character that has a talking beard that only I can hear.
You know what? I regret my choices.
Nope, no regrets. I am so writing that down. Notepad.
What was the rest of your question, though? What question were we on? I don't even remember.
We're on Spuds.
It was basically like what you expected from a modern theme that was out there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I am working on a campaign idea right now that's not set in my shared universe, but it's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be very colorful and very alien, but it's set in fantasy because it's easier. Also, kind of on that like thought process is my newest question that I'm going to ask, or more like just a statement.
Is that for us or is that for the listeners?
It could be for everybody. It's going to be more of a statement or something I like. It's still pertaining to Spud's question. I like when DMs or players flip the norm. Like break the expectation we're feeling. Like, maybe the Lich is a good guy. Maybe that Gold Dragon's a bad guy. I like. We were talking about earlier, but it's fun when even players do it. Like maybe the Paladin is really, really like unsure of himself, or maybe the helpful cleric's a dick. That kind of stuff.
Or the Paladin talks to the zombie pet of another.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the kind of, like, taking what you know and flipping it on its head can make really interesting campaigns. I guess if I was to turn that into a question for the podcast is, what have you done or what would you do? What would you flip that you've done or want to do that would make the campaign really interesting?
As far, like, what I need context for that, because that's a very, like, general question.
it's general and vague for a reason. So just kind of go with it.
I don't have an answer for that. I'll give you my answer next podcast.
What about you, Spud? I'm sure there's some generic norm that you like to flip on occasion, or something you've always wanted to flip in a campaign.
Something about. I mean, I've never gotten the chance to, but I've always kind of thought it would be fun to play. Going back to D&D, I thought it'd be fun to play like an all monster campaign where the monsters are, but all the monsters are actually good instead of evil. So they're trying to make a name for themselves.
Would we be like fighting the actual bad guys? Would be like humans and elves and like the core classes, like a complete inverse.
Not so much a complete inverse. It's more like it's like, hey, we aren't all bad, so this is us.
Okay, I can see what that is.
Like, we're like the good of the bad.
So we're gonna fight the bad. The League of Slightly Nicer Monsters.
Give or take, yeah.
I like that concept. I was thinking it'd be always fun to do an evil campaign. I know, where you play as, the evil guys, but really the heroes are the evil guys because they keep ransacking your dungeons, destroying your plots, and like even as a superhero like campaign, being like just you're all like horribly fed up with these heroes just not letting you do anything you want. And
But the funny thing is about playing an evil campaign is, and I've had a lot of people talk to me, that's played them, is like you always end up wanting to kill each other.
I always like doing that. I always, when I DM'd an all zombie campaign, I purposely wanted to turn the players on each other because I did have an evil character, and he was able to like infect the other, at least one of the other characters into being evil, and then the players fought, and the evil characters won. That was always kind of fun. Turning the players against each other. But that's because I'm a dick.
I also like what you did, Spud, where I played a princess and we went out to save the world. I always thought that was kind of a fun concept there.
Well, that one wasn't you were so much to save the world as it was that you were meant to go out and present yourself to the other kingdoms because you're going to be the ruler. But what I did with the evil character, because I did have the evil character in that campaign, what I did with him was fun.
I think we went into that last time too.
So yeah, I mean that was fun. He could continue to be evil, but he had to serve, quote unquote. So yeah.
You gotta have something, Mal, that you like to put in a campaign once in a while.
Well,
You like to what's it?
I like a lot of stuff in campaigns, but there's never really been anything, at least from a DM side, that I've really turned on anybody. I like to turn. I want to push the backstory to like the ultimate, the breaking point. I always like using the backstory against people. But, that's not really turning anything around on them. That's more of, like, a personal turnaround on them. Where, they've come up with a detailed backstory, and here they are, face-to-face with it. And usually I like splitting the party as a DM. I love putting people in an uncomfortable situation in which they only have to rely on themselves and their quick thinking to be able to get out. But I don't know. There's really not a whole lot that I can think of. I think one thing I've always wanted to do is I've always wanted to turn a paladin evil, like an actual complete alignment shift.
Yeah, and I believe that's actually a complete class change too.
Yep, you become a dark knight or something, or a death knight.
I forget what it's called.
Yeah, and
anti-paladin.
Yeah, something like that. I know. Well, I know in 3.5 they had a name for it. I just can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was trying to think of.
But I mean, like you were talking about, maybe the gold dragon is a dick. Maybe the zombie isn't a huge asshole, or the necromancer. Being able to not it goes back to what I was talking about non-combat. I love having non-combat stuff, and I've gotten a more appreciation of it because of the character I'm playing now. That has always been, now that I can really see it on this side of the screen, on the character side of the screen, the next time I DM, I hopefully want to do a lot of non-combat stuff where it's, at least give, not like say, oh, you have this way of doing it, or you could do this. I want the players to think not so much get here, kill this, go home, get the loot. I want the players to think of non-combat things. If they can do that, when I talked to, I don't know if it was on the second or the first episode, we talked about our, some of our play styles, and I came up with that scenario for the Darker Than Black campaign, which is Tower of Bad Guys, boss at the top. Yeah, you can fight your way through, but why not blow the fire hydrant up, have the water shoot up there, bend it so it's angling, the water shooting there, freeze it, and climb up. You bypass everything that I've planned just to get to the boss battle. I would love to see more flipping from a player standpoint. Flip the tables on the DM, make him think, think on the fly, which is kind of, I know it's what a DM does. It's like, 30% story, 70% winging it. But
not all DMs, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, you're just a wing it guy. You have a plot, a goal, and everything else in between is up in the air. But even there's going to be things that even you're like, oh shit, I didn't think of that. What if he just says, fuck it, I don't want to do this, and turns away?
Which is perfectly fine by me. I love that kind of, it's like, hey, you don't want to deal with it? All right, let's go on.
That's one thing that I always like, I want to see more, not so much DM flipping, because you don't really do that on a spur of a moment thing. A DM isn't going to really flip something on a player like, oh, this guy's a good guy. In my head at least, I would say, okay, if I was going to create that scenario, yeah, you can do that. You can just go ahead and fight the dragon. But if you talk to him, you're going to get, you're going to go on an alternate route. I love alternate paths. Before the podcast, Spud, we were talking about Deus Ex.
Mm-hmm.
In Human Revolution, I was, in all my missions, I was given one route. I was given one objective. Get here, neutralize him, get the chip, go home. But there's 20 different ways I can do it. I can go stealth. I can go just guns a-blazing. I can just talk and befriend everybody. Having that ability and making the DM have to be like, oh shit, oh okay, I wasn't planning for this. In his head, because he's not going to want to admit that. But being able for the player to flip the tables on the DM and make him think off the thing and completely do something that he wouldn't expect, where it's like, okay, you've befriended a dragon, and he gives you this kind of like a magic orb that at any point in time, it only work once, but you can summon this dragon and he will appear before you and fight with you. That's something that, a player would never think of unless it's just on the fly. It's like, you know what, I want to talk to this guy. He's not, like, if a player notices he's not really willing to fight, he's, okay, he's only swiping his tail, he's not breathing fire, he's not using magic, he's not using his claws. As a player to notice something like that, those are the little nuances that, I would like to see more of in more campaigns, instead of just, I go there, I fight, I kill, I loot, I go home. That's what I want to see. I like options.
Then you'll be happy. The rest of the siege is all unplanned, so I have a couple things that can happen and probably will happen, but everything else in between is just pure winging it until it ends.
Okay, now
good or bad.
It's funny you brought that up. When it came to after my bard died, and you said I have 7 planes of heaven and 7 planes of hell. How much of that did you actually write out?
I had like the gods figured out and stuff, but none of the actual like place to be.
But and you wrote out, the fact, the option of me just saying fuck it and leaving and just going back. But you also wrote out all of that there's an option for me to talk my way back out of death. Instead of just going through and accepting my fate and making a new character, you've seen my desire to never let my bard die, and you created a whole new, a whole different personal storyline for me that allowed me to have the choice of, depending on my one-word answer, I would be sent somewhere. Those kind of options is what I loved. It racked my brain. You have no idea how many freaking days at work I'm just like, God, maybe if I did this. I had plans where I wanted to bring the goddess out here, like use my magic to clear the field, show a crudely drawn picture of the party, and just be like, friends, point down to it in friends, hoping it would send me back, or using the word hope, and then having putting another stick figure of a girl and just putting an arrow, sister, hope, hope to see her again. That's the kind of shit I was thinking about. And you had no idea about that, like the kind of personal struggle I was going through between sessions, trying to figure out how I can get back alive.
Yeah, so the first thing I wrote 7 different expanding options for when you first entered that, and then depending on what your answer was, it's like, and it fades to white or black, depending if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And then I'd write a bunch of options after that, but I hadn't written anything until I knew what your answer was, because I didn't want to waste time writing 14 to 15 to probably 20 different other alternate paths from there.
But see, that was, none of that had to do with combat. None of that had to do with, my ability with a rapier or my spells. That was a conversation between me and your NPC, completely non-combat, and that would drastically affect not only just, my character's existence, but it could even have affected the entire party. That's what I love. And I, playing basically straight Smash classes and, fight classes all this time, and finally being able to see, get a non-combat class, a utility class, I have a much bigger appreciation for D&D or Modern D20 or Vampire or something like that, or any of these systems, because, I see the other half. Usually it's just, I want to piss off this guy so he starts the fight, so I can kill him. Now it's, what, maybe we don't have to fight. Yeah, I'm still going to piss off, certain character, certain NPCs, and I'm very good at that. But it's more of, what else can happen if I maybe, like I had an entire thing set up before the siege. Like if I actually would have gone through with it and gone to the siege instead of going the alternate route and trying to bring the townspeople together to rally against this incoming force. What, if I would have chosen the other route, that could have completely different, would have made the whole siege completely different.
Speaking of that whole situation, if you guys would have taken an extra day while traveling, which could have been possible if you wanted to spend the night at the camp or at the keep or whatever, and then kind of go out the next day, the town might have not been there when you got back. Like I had written that in there, well, if it's X amount of days, this happens, or this happens after this amount of days, they start doing something else.
Yeah, even you're bringing in Ellie. Did you have a plan? Did you have a plan at all for Ellie to go into the Mages Guild?
Nothing really major. Just kind of the idea of her. I know you didn't want to bring her everywhere with you, so I wrote the option of leaving her at the city or doing something along those lines, or bringing her with you. Which, if you brought her with you, she would have died.
Yeah, but I mean, did you have any thought that Ellie was actually? I mean, she's still a major NPC in this world. Did you have any plans for to actually have Ellie become that important?
I kind of figured you guys would take her with you.
But
I really did.
Is that what, take us out on adventures? Like,
No, I just felt like you'd bring her to the main city and you'd probably dump her off somewhere. But then she might join up with your party eventually again later, kind of situation. Like she is doing. Like I pretty much figured that's what you guys would do. Because you weren't going to leave her in a town with no family that's burnt to the ground. You weren't going to leave her in a small little village after you guys, went through all those struggles with her finding your dead aunt, and all those things. And then you guys got really attached to this character.
Well, yeah, I have an attachment because of my backstory. I mean, I don't really feel like anybody else does, but I'm adamant about keeping her safe. At least, my character is. So those things is what is, I found a new joy and a newfound vibrance of excitement when I play these. I don't know if I'll ever play another fucking brute class again.
So I want you, Mal, for a DM kind of thing. I want to challenge you.
All right.
To DM us a campaign that has no combat at all. That is your challenge.
God.
It's me throwing down the gauntlet. Give us that.
Oh my God, is this going to be a new segment where we just fucking have challenges now?
I think we have to. And then we got to report back once we actually play the campaign. It could just be a one-shot, but it'd be really cool if it was longer than one shot.
I will try. I will work on this. I'm not backing down from this challenge. I will give this a shot. We will use our old, our one-shot characters.
Okay. No one-shot characters. All new characters.
All new characters.
New world. All from your scratch. You got to come up with something really cool. We'll give you enough time, of course.
Yeah.
Whatever setting you want. That's my challenge to you.
Oh, okay. I'm writing this down.
We've gone over time by half an hour. But I did have one quick question because it's actually pertaining to all of this. Which do you guys prefer, the exploration or the encounters?
Exploration.
Usually exploration, like delving into a dungeon, sneaking around, looking around. That's kind of the fun of at least that. Encounters are kind of encounters, and it feels like.
Well, by encounters, I also mean with NPCs as in people to talk to as well.
Oh, then maybe a little more like that.
Well, I kind of feel that field would be in the same area as exploration. I mean, because if you don't go out and pursue, the alternate route, you're not going to meet that guy who gives you a key bit of knowledge to the boss. It's something like that.
But if you're encountering people inside the city, that's more the encounters that I'm referring to, as in talking your way through situations, as it was put forth before, with social interactions in terms of finding out who this corrupt government is, or finding out who this one person is by doing quote unquote detective work. Or the exploration side of it would be to go into this dungeon to see if you can find any mysterious artifact or anything, even if there's no enemies there.
Then I'm changing my answer to the other, or to encounters, because in an empty dungeon, and to find a cool artifact, or to find something cool that would, it's not necessarily necessary, but would actually definitely help in a future fight. Yeah, that's kind of cool and all. But I want to, if I'm playing, I want to learn about this world. I want to know, I want to, really grow people for information, because there's something, there's a lot of stuff I don't know about this, town or this world or this future boss that we're going to have to fight and, rescue a princess or a regent or whatever. Being able to discover new things, which would, basically broaden your viewpoint of how you tackle that situation, which would which would include, exploration later on. It's well, there's a secret entrance because you talked to this person. He, you became buddy with him, got him drunk, and he revealed that, oh, there's a alternate route in the well that will lead you right under his chamber pot. Yeah, you have to dig through some shit, but you're going to get there and you have a great chance to neutralize them without any damage, without any problems, something like that. So I would say encounters first because it can lead to better exploration later.
My answer is kind of opposite. The sad thing is, I, as a DM and as a player, I really like the world and the environment. I like the exploration is what you guys do not do at all. You don't want to go look in the woods. You don't want to go hunting on your adventure. You don't want to do any of that. You just want to follow the road, get to point A to point B to point C, and you're done. You don't want to go like, well, I want to go into the woods and I want to go look at that. I want to go see this thing over here.
Because the last time we did that, I died.
Well, it's just a general thing. I mean, you guys have been traveling a lot in my campaigns. You never really want to go anywhere. As a player, I would love to play a ranger and just kind of like, okay, guys, let's go sneak through this wooded area to cut a couple days off our journey. I mean, of course, there'd probably be encounters and stuff in there, but it'd be just like that kind of exploration I really enjoy. Same thing with dungeons, like going in and seeing this really well-crafted, cool, well-thought-out dungeon that has, glyphs and runes of ancient origins, where you're gonna have to like just come up with whatever ideas you have, or maybe there's an idol on a altar that you have no way of figuring out. This that kind of like little details put into the world that I really enjoy as a player, and I try to strive to do as a DM. Just to like let there always be a little more, but you can't get the answer from the scene. You have to actually then go and talk to somebody or like investigate it further to get more information.
Then could I propose, like, if you feel like you wish to throw something out as a DM to, like, maybe this might be a good place for someone to go explore, maybe have something catch one of the player's eyes and have it lead somewhere, and then see, how that character reacts and if they want to bring the rest of the party, rather than just say, all right, well, you're going from point A to point B, these things happen along the way, but there's nothing that would really lead you off the road. Like the tower that you had presented us led us right off the road because we could visibly see it, and so we wanted to go explore it.
You guys did not want to go.
No, it was your your NPC, your regent. That's like, no, I think we want to go over there, and we just didn't want to argue.
I was playing a bird that couldn't talk, so that was not me.
There's been other little subtle things, like you guys didn't even explore the keep after you guys killed the boss. Like you didn't want to like look for anything out of the ordinary. But then again, this whole campaign.
I was trying to, but it's like, oh, we gotta run.
Well,
yeah, I expected you guys to stay in the night there, and I had a whole bunch of night stuff planned.
Well, I mean,
or like when, yeah.
Or are you talking about like when we went to that inn and then we decided we end up eating like people and shit like that? Are you I know the keep when we rescued the regent, but are you more referencing?
No, the keep. Because there was more stuff I had hidden in deeper areas, and there was a whole dungeon built into it, but you guys didn't want to look around. And then, like, you guys saw the floating lights off in the swamp. You guys just didn't even care. I mean, there's lots of little things.
Well, at that point in time, I was dead, so I couldn't do anything. But you did, a couple people did go and find that orb just to find, like, a corrupted Bert. So,
No, that was in a different area.
Oh.
But needless to say, I would like more exploration, but as a DM and as at least in this campaign, it's a little hard because I've been kind of forcing the story down your throat to get through it because there's a lot of story to get through, and there's a lot of players, and we are all on Skype, and it's just kind of, we gotta do it as we do it. Gotta get through it because everyone wants to finish a campaign. If we start exploring... That's why I liked my other one that we did before I canceled it, is because I would write out like tons of little details. Like the whole keep was fleshed out, and there were stories behind everything. We just had to ask people, but you guys still didn't. You still didn't. Well,
I also played a combat class. I played just a basic fighter because nobody else played a melee class. So I ended up having to be the damage sponge that one with Appendex.
But needless to say, that's kind of I like the exploration side. I like the little details, the hidden things, the things that you have to find out more information on later. That's the kind of stuff I like. Not really finding the information and then go doing the thing. I like to doing the thing and then going to learn more about it. Exploration then research, not research then exploration. That hopefully answers your question.
It does actually.
All right.
So and see, the reason I was actually going into that was because I was thinking about it all in the sense of Numenera, where the idea behind Numenera is not so much the combat or anything like that. I mean, you don't even get experience for being in combat. You get the experience for the DM intruding and saying, "This is something that happens." It's pretty bad typically, but that's the only reason you get experience. Or if you complete a full exploration. Like, you go in, you find a piece of Numenera. That's the idea behind it. So it's more about the exploration rather than it is with the interacting. That's kind of why I was wondering.
I gotta mirror back to my question answer too. Another reason I don't like encounters so much in at least D&D is it feels like you're running a whole different system. You know, the whole flow of the campaign gets interrupted for combat. You know, then it's turn-based. It's not just talking and doing things as a group. Then it's like combat. You're individual. I mean, it's kind of it throws a wrench into the smoothness of the campaign by doing that kind of encounter.
The encounter I'm more of thing is non-combat encounters. I really like non-combat encounters. Combat encounters is just basic. Roll for initiative, do damage, things resolve, rinse, repeat, redo. Non-combat encounters is what I'm getting, I'm really gaining a love for, because I'm useless in combat. So I don't have that to back up. I can stab somebody, I can insult you to do a little damage, but that's it. Next level, I gain my spell, I gain the additional magic or the magic secrets, and I can do stuff. But that's not going to change how I'm playing, because I'm used to being the utility guy, the support character, at least in combat. I blow the horn, everybody gets temporary hit points, I may be able to use a shatter spell, but where the bard shines is in non-combat interactions, where I can try to grill them for information. I can completely get entirely different results because of it. I would rather, that's why, Bleak gave me the challenge of a non-combat. I think that would be, it's going to be fucking hard for me to do. I'm going to try it, but to be able to do everything in non-combat and completely change everything that the DM has planned, or even the other players. One player who's a barbarian is like, okay, I'm prepared to smash this guy in the face and then wear his skull as a codpiece. But if if everything gets settled before combat starts, and he's like, you know what, I see it your way, I'm going to join you. The barbarian is basically useless in non-combat.
Yep.
I'm the exact opposite. I'm useless in combat right now, because I'm a lore bard. If I was a valor bard, then this whole conversation would be completely different. So I'm sticking with my answer of encounters, but I'm revising it to non-combat encounters.
I can dig it.
We've gone on for almost an hour and 45 minutes. Should we start with our closing stuff here?
Yeah.
So who's going to pose the question tonight? I think
Spud.
It's actually Spud's
It's
turn.
my turn.
Yep.
All right. After cleaning several of the brushes that lie in your way, you find an entrance to a strange, almost stone structure. And if you take any steps down into it, you notice that there's a lot of blue lights just mystically glowing. What do you expect to find at the end of this?
I like it.
I'm trying to think of an answer, but I don't have one yet.
I have plenty of answers, but mostly because I DM lots of fantasy campaigns, so everything just flew through my mind. But it's for everybody listening to answer. Please leave your comment down below. You can message us on Twitter. You can email it to us at dmsanddicebags@gmail.com. I don't think we have a Facebook page yet, but you can find me on Facebook. It's you just search Bleakborn and you can find my page, and I'll be posting this video there as well as on my Twitter. Do you guys have anything you wanna?
You can find me at youtube.com/user/Malatach. I don't have any of that. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have any of that shit. But
Enjoyed the social media revolution, bitch.
I have a personal Facebook that I post all my videos on, and eventually I'm gonna make a Malatach page, but until then, meh. But yeah, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know your answer. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. What you want us to never talk about again. If you want detailed pictures of Bleak's sex dungeon, let us know.
You just see the plans drawn up. It's like, swing goes here.
He's already got the plans. He's already established that he has a pulley system. He's got the dungeon already there.
So long, everybody.
Don't you have anything to whore out?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because I'm not to that point yet, man.
Oh, you gotta get to that point, man.
Oh.
Well, I mean, plug something.
Plug your butt.
There you go.
Done. Let's go.
Wow, your
one
voice
more thing.
didn't change at all. This must be a normal thing for you.
One more thing. If you guys want us to all play a non-D&D related game and watch us fumble through something, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to be horrible at a video game of your guys' choosing.
Instead of being horrible at a video game or a D&D or RPG of our choice.
Yeah, just please comment, like, and subscribe. We need all the help we can get. We're poor. We're doing this for fun, but we'd love to get paid, right? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
And I need somebody else to talk to besides a potato and an octopus.
Speaking of which, I hopefully we'll have a guest on next one. I think we might be able to line up somebody, so you'll be ready to hear from somebody.
I cast Vicious Mockery on him.
Maybe I'll just be in Voldemort's voice the whole time!
Well, if you do that, I will preemptively turn my mic down, or at least the volume where my headphones go into, so I don't bleed from the ears.
Yeah. If you guys want us to do a whole podcast in character as a character, let us know, because it would be a lot of fun. We wouldn't be able to talk for a couple days afterwards, but yeah. This is Bleakborn signing out.
This is Malatach signing off.
I'm a fucking potato. I'm just gonna go back into the ground.
And this is DMs and Dicebags. We'll see you next Thursday.